It's my true pleasure to have you all here this year. Back again, this is our 5th year of hosting the this challenge for the high schools, and we're really thrilled to have you here. If you haven't been on campus before, I think it's kind of appropriate. You're in the Saab Emerging Technologies and Innovation Center. And Mark and Alicia Saab. Mark was a graduate of our engineering program here at UMass Lowell quite a ways back, but he was an entrepreneurial person at heart. He literally at heart, it seems. He graduated out of our famous plastics engineering program and went on to develop new ways with new plastics and new methods for developing balloons. Not for fun, but in case you had to do angioplasty, your arteries were thickening up, they could put them in there, reopen them up, and save people's lives. Pretty amazing technique, and went on to do great things, started a number of companies from that work, and was a great benefactor to us. How many of you think you're going to start a company one day and change lives? That's the majority. That's exciting. See, that's why. And the rest of you just haven't figured it out yet. It's okay. It's okay. But that's the kind of spirit we try to invoke here with all of our students. It's going to college is a lot about schoolwork, right? I did mention that Mark studied engineering. There's a lot of work behind that. It is with every major on campus. But the stuff that happens outside the classroom is equally important. And we're really proud of one of our signature programs here called DifferenceMaker, where we give every student the opportunity to get on a team, work on a problem that they find exciting, and find some solutions. And every year we give away about $50,000 to teams of students in order to let them work their way through those problems and see if they can bring them to market someday and save the world in their own little way, right? So if that's something that excites you, I invite you to look at us. I talked to a few of you who have already toured campus. There will be our admissions table here at the end of the day, and feel free to take some time. I think they might even give you a QR code for a free application. But we'd welcome you back to campus anytime to talk to any of our faculty. More of our students hopefully get to interact with a few of them today. And if this is something you'd like to do, I guarantee we can help continue to foster that innovation and entrepreneurial spirit that's hiding inside of each and every one of you. So I'd like to give my extreme thanks here to Gina Musto from Westford. We've been teaming with you for a number of years. As I said, this is our 5th time. When we started this, we just had a few schools coming up. Now we have almost 10. It's really great to see you all today. We hope to have you back and keep coming back. To all the administrators, thank you so much for helping. And our friends at DECA, thanks for not only serving as judges, but obviously putting on this whole program and providing the funding for the prizes and such. So great to have you all. Look forward to hearing hopefully a couple pitches before I have to go off and actually do my real job today. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Musto.
Okay, he pretty much said everything that I was going to say. Look at him, thank you. But I just wanted to say how extremely grateful I am that we are able to continue this collaboration for these high school students and give them this opportunity, and to continue it through a pandemic and be 10 teams strong is really impressive, and I'm thrilled that everyone was able to throw a pitch together and come here, be vulnerable, and present their idea to a totally new audience. At least for my students, I know they're looking forward to saying it to someone other than me. So I wanted to say thank you to Donna McFadden for supporting this program in every way, including financially, for the prizing. So we could just do a quick round of applause for Donna. Thank you. And also, I would be remiss if I didn't thank Holly Lalos for always being there from the very first day when we had our meeting together to dream this idea up and to make it a reality. So thank you to Holly. And I would also be remiss if I didn't thank Nicholas Jarek?
Yeah.
Okay, good, I got it right, yes. Who has been a fundamental part of making sure that all of the slides are working and all of the details and the minute stuff that teachers kind of forget about to pull something like this off. So thank you very much for all of your work. Okay, so we have one school that's literally walking across the bridge right now. They had a little bit of traffic, but without further ado, I'd like to introduce Sarah. She's one of our Massachusetts state officers, and she just has a brief little something to say. Thank you so much.
Good morning, competitors. My name is Sarah Lewis, and I am a member of the Massachusetts DECA State Action Team 65. Competing in the UMass Lowell DifferenceMaker event last year truly sparked my passion, not only within DECA, but within my career preferences after high school. The innovative processes was not just about the engineering solutions, but also about the potential impact on society. It was the perfect blend of innovation, practicality, and forward thinking. I learned that engineering lays the foundation for groundbreaking ideas, while business strategies propel these innovations into the world. This realization made me understand that as an aspiring engineer, my role extends beyond just creating technical solutions. It involves understanding the market, envisioning the product's journey, and ensuring its success in the real world. As you compete today, I encourage you all to embrace this approach, where engineering meets business strategy. May this experience not only challenge your skills, but also inspire you to recognize the broader implications of your innovative ideas. Take away from today's competition the realization that your role, like mine, extends beyond. It involves shaping ideas that contribute positively to society and effectively addressing market demands. May this competition be a catalyst for your own discoveries and aspirations. Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome everyone. My name is Holly Lalos. I'm the director of the DifferenceMaker Institute. I also had some thank yous today. Gina, all the other teachers here, and your collaboration has just been instrumental in growing this program over the last 5 years. Obviously, all the students here, your hard work has really paid off that you've gotten to this point. We're really excited to have you at UMass Lowell today and to hear your presentations. I also want to thank Donna and Sarah from DECA. So DECA actually sponsors the prizes for this event. Of course, I want to thank my team, Nick, who really took the lead in making sure all the details for this event were sorted out. And then our other two RIS DifferenceMaker co-op students are working the registration table, Maddie and Cameron, and they have been very helpful as well. It really takes a team of people to make an event like this happen successfully. And I want to thank Provost Hartman for being here and for his guidance throughout, growing the high school programming. And my supervisor, Brenda Evans, who is the Dean of Student Affairs, which the RIS DifferenceMaker Institute is a part of. So thank you everyone for being here and making this happen. Of course, a big thank you to our judges for being here this evening. I'm going to introduce each of you. So we have Kim Carmen, who is a retired teacher from Upper Cape Tech. So thank you very much for being here. We have Deborah Finch, who is a faculty member in the Manning School of Business here at UMass Lowell. Cynthia Gajardo-Vijar, who is a professor in the Manning School of Business as well. And then Stephanie Guyot, who works at the UMass Lowell Innovation Hub. So she's the associate director there in Haverhill, Massachusetts. So thank you all for being here this evening and joining our students.
So good morning, everyone. My name is JC Jakubowski.
I'm Lucy Sisto.
I'm Raisa Oliveira.
And I'm Ryan Brew. This is our business idea, Easy CNC.
So for those of you who don't know what a CNC mill is, it is the standard machine used if there's trying to cut a material and to get an accurate and precise cut. So it uses a computer to control a numerical positioning system to get a desired product. And currently there is no CNC mill that is easily accessible and easy to use. So that is our problem. And
With Easy CNC, we hope to target audiences with a limited budget. In schools, trade and engineering classes oftentimes lack tools and resources. Bringing Easy CNC into classes would extend the education for students using hands-on learning. For small businesses, rapidly prototyping prevents companies from going out of house to produce metal parts, therefore reducing development time and cost.
98% of schools offer shop classes. For each and every one of these schools, the Easy CNC offers an affordable and accessible option to get students hands dirty in CNC machining. 29% of failing startups fail because of insufficient funding. For each and one of these startups that uses CNC machining for their prototyping, their products, the CNC offers an effective solution for in-house production. The current market value of CNC machining is close to $342 billion and is growing at a rate of 30% per year. The Easy CNC hopes to insert itself into this growing market and capitalize on the gains of the market. The average cost per round of prototyping with CNC machining for a small business is close to $14,000. With the Easy CNC, it would be a one-time cost for the machine and only material costs for the company after that. This is the price point of the top 25 CNC machines on Google. As you can see, there's a giant gap between $800 and $1,600. Below $800, quality drops off extremely. And above $1,600, it's just not affordable. The Easy CNC hopes to bring the quality of the higher priced machines down to the lower price point of the lower quality machines.
In order to cut down costs, Easy CNC will use open source resources, completely cutting out development costs. We hope to make a product that is accessible to everybody so that anyone can learn to use it. We will design it for beginners, starting from the ground up, creating a machine that anybody can use, even with zero prior knowledge. Again, in pursuit of accessibility, we will produce our machine at the desktop size and at the larger build table size so that no matter the space, you can get your hands dirty in CNC machining.
Our funding timeline looks like this. For the first prototype and testing, we'll likely spend around $1,000 to $2,000, which is extremely cheap due to our use of open source resources. We'll have to spend zero on firmware development. For field testing, we'll probably spend $1,000 to $2,000, bringing our product to schools and local businesses, getting feedback in the field. It'll probably cost $2,000 to $5,000 to bring our product to market. This is listing costs and certification costs, and also marketing costs as well. Thank you.
Do any of the judges have any questions?
Thank you, that was great. What is the timeline that it will take you to actually develop your prototype? You know, I mean, are we talking months, years? Like how are you able to build it, and what's your timeline?
So we probably will develop a prototype over the course of 3 to 6 months. First round prototyping, CNC machining isn't something extremely new. It's a concept that exists, but creating an affordable CNC mill is our product, so we can learn from what's already on the market and use resources that are already online about CNC machining to develop our product. So very quickly we can get a first prototype, and it's just testing, and after that, and looking for lower cost materials, way to cut costs.
You've identified an opening kind of in the marketplace. How do you see yourself meeting that marketing and providing the quality that you want to provide?
I think it's through testing, right? Our goal is to make an affordable product, but in order for it to be quality, we kind of start at the affordable price point and then test and see, what's the capability of the machine that we've created, how do we improve it, while also maintaining that price point. And so it's like working with the constraint of the price point and really trying to, after that, work on revisions and prototyping to really try and get a machine that is really capable, you're not compromising anything, and it's really easy for anybody to use.
Thank you.
One question I had is, who thought of this product as your business?
This was, this is kind of my idea. This is something that I've been working on for a while, like personally, as a personal project. There's actually a picture in here. It's actually a render that I made. This is a product I was working on my own, and I'm really interested in what really excites me is in-home as a hobbyist, in-home manufacturing. So having the tools like 3D printers and CNC machines to be able to produce anything you want in your house. And I think it's really, really amazing the new technologies we have for something like this, where anybody, anywhere can produce whatever they want. And it really gives you a newfound freedom. So this was kind of my business idea, because I think, everyone should have that power. And CNC machining is, an area where not everyone has that power to produce things out of metal.
And we also think that coming from a small school, we don't have many classes that involve engineering, especially in a hands-on manner. So we think it would be really interesting to have some sort of a machine that students can use and really learn how to do some sort of engineering in a really hands-on manner.
Like Lucy said, I believe that coming from a small school, we don't get as many opportunities, especially with the equipment that we have. So bringing the Easy CNC into our schools would definitely lead those people who want to go into the engineering industry into the right path.
Any other questions?
Millions of people in Massachusetts alone suffer from food insecurity. Now imagine if you and your family have to resort to go into a food pantry, but you come to find out that there's no culturally relevant ingredients at this pantry. This is an unfortunate story for all too many. It's also where Inclusive Eats wants to make an impact. Before we begin, we'll go through our agenda. First, we're going to talk about the problem, its opportunity, the Inclusive Eats solution, as well as what we will do with the prize money.
The problem. Food insecurity in of itself is a problem. Food should be secure, but food is also culture. In our country, many of the families who are facing food insecurity are people of color. And when they go to these food pantries and get these resources to them, they have these ingredients that aren't really culturally familiar to them, and they see a disconnect with this. And this is a problem.
So you may be asking, how relevant is this issue, as we say? Or is there an opportunity? Unfortunately, this issue is very relevant, but I wouldn't call it an opportunity, more so a responsibility that we have taken to serve our community with dignity. One in five families, that's almost unbelievable to say, suffer from and reported food insecurity. Over 44 million Americans across the US. But as you can see with this bar graph, as my colleague said before, BIPOC households are affected the most here. So that's why it's so important we have culturally relevant ingredients at our local pantries. From a recent interview with a Woburn resident, they said food is more than just a meal on a plate. It is a part of our culture. And that stuck with us at Inclusive Eats. It's a part of our mission. Unfortunately, we aren't the only ones, but as our director of partnership said, we build relationships, not competition. There's only other organizations with a similar mission at heart, which is why we partnered with Bread of Life, one of the largest distributors in the state, distributing 1.5 million pounds of food every year, as well as Social Capital Inc. and Chick-fil-A.
So now that we identified the problem, what is the solution? Our mission at Inclusive Eats is to provide underprivileged families with culturally relevant ingredients, and our team has done this in a wide variety of ways. Firstly, we have gone to grocery stores and purchased these culturally relevant ingredients, which we have donated to food pantries for them to distribute to families in need. Furthermore, in the future, we plan to go to these grocery stores and purchase gift cards to donate to these food pantries, which they can donate to these families, empowering them to make their own sound food choices. Also, at our high school, we have held a successful rice drive, which we have raised over 150 pounds of rice, which we will donate to food pantries in order for them to distribute to families that need them across our communities.
As a nonprofit organization, we will ensure that the money we earn from this event will be put back into our community for good. We are planning on utilizing $200 of the event money for a local Haitian catering event with our previously mentioned partner, Bread of Life. These events are absolutely necessary for the well-being of Haitians all across the state amidst the Haitian migration crisis that has impacted our town and many other towns in our state greatly. We are also planning on using this money on ingredients to help source these events to help aid Haitians all across the state.
And thank you so much for listening. We encourage you guys to check out our socials and our website for our mission, and we open you guys to questions.
Thank you. You mentioned that you've established a partnership with Bread of Life. How did you do that? How did you make that connection and get them on board?
So I went to it was like a partner event. It's actually called Better Together, where a bunch of nonprofits work together to solve their issues, which is why what our director of partnership said. And I basically gave them my elevator pitch at their stand and like, wow, we really like that. We'd like to meet with you. And I met with them with our director of partnerships, and we formed a partnership, and we've been collaborating ever since.
How did you determine this was an issue? Whose idea was it? How did it come about?
So I was doing a catering event, and I actually had to run into the bathroom. And to go to the bathroom, I had to run through this food pantry. It was at this local nonprofit, and I saw the food pantry, and it was just like walls and walls of cans. Some were dented, some were bloated. And I was like, this is an issue. So that was at the beginning of the summer. So I gathered some of my best friends here to work on this issue, and I'm proud to say we've done a difference here.
Also, I'm also a part of Project 351, and I've done a lot of work with food pantries, and a lot of them have already stated that this is a problem. And me, myself, I'm Haitian, so watching the Haitian migration crisis is very close to my heart. And this is why, since we have just really started our nonprofit, this is one of our first very big events.
So I'm really applaud you for thinking about this. I think we certainly are raising awareness of food insecurity, but you touched on a topic that doesn't get talked about very often. Have you done any surveying of food pantries and gathered data about how they think about this?
Definitely. So with different food pantries, they often do like surveys with the families they serve. So for example, in Malden, you have higher percentages of Asians versus in Everett, you have more Brazilians. And right now in Woburn, if you've caught up with the news, we have a much higher percentage of Haitians. So we use that data to kind of segment our resources to each pantry.
And adding on to that, I have a friend who actually helps out at a local food pantry, and she said she'd be willing to collaborate with us and give us resources and details on how it runs and the food that they give and source to their people who come there. So we already have an inside relationship that we're ready to have with the food pantry in our town.
Great presentation, I really liked it, and thank you for covering this interesting problem, a big problem. Just out of curiosity, I want to know, what are your next steps after this competition? What do you think you will do to achieve your goals?
So in the next coming weeks, we'll be having a bake sale at our school to help fundraise. We will be, selling culturally familiar ingredients, stuff from Haitian culture, Brazilian culture. Mike here is Lebanese, but with those funds, we are planning to have a either community cooking class or community dinner to help integrate the Haitians into our community, as most of them have spent their times in the hotels, kind of walking around the vicinity of it. We want to kind of make it more welcome for them, have them have more, relationships with those in the community, because now they are a part of our community.
Is your long-term goal to have your own food pantry, or to really just make sure that the existing resources are providing culturally, appropriate foods?
So as we said before, we build relationships, not competition. In Inclusive Eats, I think we would rather, reach out to all these different food pantries and kind of support the cause that they're already going for, Because there's just so many things going on in this world that we just want to uplift the voices that are already speaking, you know, all these different food pantries that have already established relationships in their communities, you know, and having those information, those inside voices, you know, these are the people that are talking to these people, helping these people.
Attachment to the bottom of hulls on ships can increase fuel expenditure by 40% in total. With 300 million tons of fuel being used by ships each year, this means that an extra around 100 million fuel, I apologize, 100 million tons of fuel are being overused.
Barnacles are seesaw creatures. They are filter feeders.
In being sessile creatures, this means that they are dormant, and once they're removed from an area that they attach to, they're no longer alive. And by being sessile creatures, they also help recycle in the ocean with detritus, which is dead organic matter, and can cause things such as red tide. Red tide is an effect of detritus, and just last year in Boston we had red tide, which prevented the shellfish market from expanding as it usually will throughout the winter.
Our product is going to be using sound waves, and the sound waves repel barnacles like in sharps. It keeps the barnacles from attaching to the bottom of boats, docks, bridges, and stuff like that. It doesn't affect the barnacles at all. It uses the same amount of frequencies as a ultrasound, so it won't even affect humans. You won't even know what's happening. It's just there on a boat or wherever you put it. Barnacles are removed from ships by scraping. This automatically kills the barnacles because they're not allowed to reattach to anything, so they just die, which can be a big problem. But there's too many barnacles for that to even worry about. The second way is anti-fouling paint. Anti-fouling paint is a chemical-based paint that people put on their boats. This can brush off whenever you go fast, and it puts chemicals into the water, which affects fish and other marine life. That needs to stop. So our product is basically stopping all those bad ways of killing off barnacles and affecting our sea life. And it just is a sound system that sends a frequency which goes to the barnacle's nerve system and causes them not to stick on that object.
Our created low frequency sound they prevent barnacles from sticking onto a boat. Once a barnacle sticks onto a boat's engine, it is very, it damages the boat's engine. And it lowers the water intake and it causes overheating. The longer the barnacles stay on a boat, the more it becomes damaged. And scraping the paint off of a boat
We're happy to take questions. We are well informed on our studies.
Before we do that, there are many other ways of killing barnacles. Like, some of those ways can be dangerous to not only the environment, but also boats as well. So it's important that we develop our own solution to this, which is Marine Guard.
We're happy to take questions.
Have you been able to do any sort of testing to see how this works and if the barnacles will in fact not attach to a boat or something when you use the sound frequency?
We We have not done testing, but I have done research on it.
In the 1970s, scientists did testing on marine life, and one of the main creatures they tested on were barnacles, and see how they stuck and what would prevent them. But nothing was clearly done with it, so we just decided to work off that.
Question I have is a two-part question, but what prompted this idea would be first, and also have you, I live on the Cape, so at what point would you, I mean, obviously we have a huge marine business down on the side of the bridge or down that way. What processes would you think of to get the word out down here?
It's a great question. What prompted me is I'm a boat owner myself. Every year when I take the boat out of the water, you have to scrape the barnacles off because anti-fouling paint brushes off in the water, as you probably know. So I was like, we need a better solution for this. I mean, I hate doing it. A lot of people hate doing it. You get scraped, all that. And my main way of probably reaching out to other businesses is contacting the boat dealers, stuff like that, or Garmin and Raymond, I forget what it's called, but the marine electronic companies, just getting the word out there is the main priority.
Hi, great presentation. Thank you. And I have a question. Do you think that these sound waves will interfere in any way with the sound waves that the ships already use?
No, because submarine sonar uses frequencies between 100,000 and 300,000 hertz, and it has relatively no effect on the sea life around it due to the short period of time that those signals are sent out. So no, it will not harm sea life, and it also won't harm humans either because, as Owen said, ultrasounds use the 100,000 frequency.
Thank you. Have you spoken with boatyard owners and staff who do this on a regular basis?
Yeah, I have spoken with them, and they have the same issue that probably almost every boat owner does.
Thank you.
What costs do you anticipate to develop this device, and how will you develop it?
So first, we got to figure out how to engineer and make this thing actually function. It's fairly easy. All it does take is a speaker and a transducer that can bring out that sound. And then after we figure out the pricing of that, we got to figure out manufacturing costs and then build on from that. And then the more it spreads, the more we can create and spread the word.
Any other questions?
I'm Jason.
I'm Sanvi.
I'm Srinath. I'm Daniel.
I'm Manya, and our project is called PFAS Will Not Last in Our Class.
So some background behind our problem is that our school has a water issue with PFAS, and it has high levels of iron and manganese, which lead to the water to be discolored and unsafe for use. PFAS are man-made chemicals that have been used in the manufacturing of certain firefighting foams, moisture and stain-resistant products, and other industrial processes. Our project aims to solve the issue of the eyewash stations not being able to be used because of the unsafe water conditions. It is very important to us that we solve this specific problem because if there's an emergency and a student has chemicals in their eyes, they will not have any clean and safe water to clear their eyes from any damage. Our solution offers a unique way to solve this issue.
So the opportunity associated with solving this problem is more of a community gain than a profitable gain. We are not looking to make money, we are looking to solve a problem affecting all students of the high school and offer an effective solution that helps them carry on with important coursework in science classes without any interference by this water problem. The schools provided the teachers with small handheld squirt bottles of saline solutions But many of the science teachers were displeased with this because it was very obviously not sufficient for the students in case of an emergency and just not the best solution that could be offered. They agreed that ours was a much more effective solution. Because the school has not been able to provide an effective solution, we are taking this opportunity to provide a more efficient one which works better than the current proposed solution by working automatically, so it doesn't have to be operated by a person themselves, and is much more effective in a chemical emergency than the squirt bottle.
Our proposed solution to this problem is purchasing portable water tanks with saline solution. This product is a 9-gallon saline solution tank. These tanks are the best solution for locations in need of an eye wash that have no access to a potable water source. In our case, we don't have a safe water source. The solution solves a problem we stated in our previous slides because it offers a clean source of water for emergencies, provides an eye wash station that can be used by all students, and is easy and portable, for which is best for an emergency rather than having a station at one fixed place. The solution is unique because instead of installing a completely new eye wash station, this separate flow of clean water, we are being innovative by finding an easier, portable, and less expensive solution to a problem outside of the student and faculty's control. The solution will be sustained for the time we needed until a permanent solution is found by using funding to continue purchasing the tanks and replacing solutions.
Two main resources we need are more fundraising and support from our school and community.
To pay for the total amount needed for all 9 classrooms, we will need grants from organizations in and around Groton-Dunstable that provide money for issues like these, such as the Groton-Dunstable Educational Foundation and fundraisers as well. We can even raise additional funds by using websites such as SnapRaise, which have proven to be effective for many other chapters.
We win today. We're going to put as much money as we can towards this project. Our annual budget is going to look something like $10,000 because the saline in these tanks needs to be replaced every 6 months. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
It's kind of a unique issue that you have here. First of all, how did you find out you had this problem? And I guess from my perspective is, why isn't the school or the town doing more about this?
So this has been an issue in our school for the last couple of years, and they've actually shut down water fountains because of this. So all the water in our school and a lot of towns surrounding us has PFAS in it, and I think the schools just don't have enough funding to put towards this, but they are trying to create a long-term plan to find a solution.
Several other schools, such as Pepperell, they also have this issue, and I think right now what they're trying to do is they're having meetings about it and kind of trying to come up with funding and sort of like a wider solution that can be applied to all schools. But right now, they have to purchase those big gallon tanks for us to use as drinking water, and yeah, we're not really able to use a lot of the water at our school right now.
So I think that's great that you found a product that already exists and that you don't necessarily need to create a new solution. Have you purchased any of these yet? Have you seen it in action? Like, will it help, and will it meet what the teachers and students need in those science classrooms?
Yes, so this product is basically a water tank with a saline solution in it, so it will work the same way as the previous eye wash stations used to, as opposed to the saline squirt bottles that they have right now. So they'll basically be used in the same way, but providing more cleaner water for the students so that they aren't affected by the chemicals.
And we've talked to a couple of science teachers in our department, and they definitely agree that it would be a lot easier to use than the squirt bottles because you have to handheld operate them, which is difficult in a situation like that.
And just one follow-up, You mentioned that this was sort of a temporary solution until there could be a longer-term solution. What do you see as the long-term solution to this problem?
Well, I think the long-term solution would be the water in our district is fixed and there are no more chemicals in it. So until that happens, which could likely take 5 to 10 years, this would be the solution.
How is this affecting other companies, not just schools in Westford? Because there must be companies that have eyewash stations.
I would say in the district itself, it probably affects them because in case of an emergency in nearby buildings itself, it would be difficult to use water to wash out your eyes or on if any chemical would fall on it. So.
And one more question, how have you actually seen one of these eyewash stations in person?
Not yet, but we're expected to see it being implemented in the near future.
Do you know how do they make it tamper-proof?
In what sense?
And that someone could add something to the saline solution in the...
I'm not too sure yet.
Yeah, I'm just curious about that in the aspect of it being having to keep it sterile for 6 months.
So the saline solution would be regulated by the science teachers in every classroom, and they would be the ones responsible for changing it every 6 months, but we do need the funding for the district to provide so that they can purchase the saline solution to water tanks.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you. Do you think that this can be used or applied in any other schools, or is just for your school specifically?
No, I think this could definitely be applied to different schools because, as I said before, we have surrounding districts with the same issue because the water line extends to different towns. So I definitely think if other schools have this issue, this could be like an easy way to implement a new solution and definitely more cost affordable than kind of fixing the whole water system and getting a new line, which is what I do believe they're trying to do in the future at some point.
Perfect. Thank you.
My early morning workout, I found myself always having to look around a source of caffeine, like an energy drink, in order to enhance my performance during my workout, as well as a protein source, in order to replenish my muscles after a rigorous workout. That's when I turned to Google to try to find a way to maximize my cost on spending on these individual components. However, I was distraught to find that there was only a protein coffee that had been established, yet there was no sign of a protein energy drink. That's when, hi, I'm Ashley Gannett.
And I'm Stephen Corderoni.
I'm Bridget Sweezy.
And I'm Luke Anderson.
And together, we are ProCaf, to fuel your strength and spark your energy. According to the National Institute of Health, over 46% of the United States population consumes protein shakes in order to enhance their muscle growth. Additionally, the majority of the population also consumes at least one caffeinated beverage per day. With a recent study revealing that the time of protein consumption does not affect muscle growth, it is undeniable that it is crucial for us to establish a product that enhances both components into one product to enhance the maximization of younger individuals.
In recent years, we found that more and more people are turning to the gym for hobbies, health, and sports, which helps increase the target market of ProCaf. Many gym goers consume energy drinks to help energize their workouts, and we found that our target market of age groups 18 to 34 represents more than 1/3 of gym goers and consumes more than 1/3 of energy drinks nationwide. As for our demographics, we will be located in the greater Boston area due to our residency in Massachusetts to help establish a better personal connection with our customers. As the gym world continues to grow, more and more people turn to social media to help get advice and better understand the gym world. And many of these content creators on these apps, such as Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, are affiliated with sponsorships such as Bang Energy and C4 Energy Drinks to help let others know about energy drinks. This means that the gym community is waiting for their newest arrival of ProCaf.
Now, in order to adjust to the ever-changing world of sports branding and fueling, our service ProCaf incorporates 200 milligrams of caffeine mixed with 25 grams of protein. Now, our service is also cost-effective, costing only $4.99 per bottle. Not only does the caffeine create energy-boosting categories for our service, but also the protein promotes health benefits as well.
All right, now let's take a look at some of the finances for this project. So above you can see a projected 3-year plan for the operations of ProCraft. So the $500 from the DifferenceMaker is going to be crucial in our startup. We're going to dedicate the first $200 into testing. So we're going to be buying ingredients such as protein, caffeine, taurine, B vitamins, trace minerals, and some others, which are the most popular ingredients in some of these caffeine and protein drinks. And we're going to experiment to try to see if we can find that goal of 200 milligrams of caffeine and 25 grams of protein while still maintaining a good taste. The other $300 are going to be dedicated to purchasing inventory and then marketing. We're going to start online. So in the first year, you can see our only sales are going to be from online because we're going to start a website, and we're going to sell online because it's difficult to get into stores when you're a relatively new brand. Once we're more established in the second year, we're going to try to get into storefronts. So this isn't going to be convenience stores like Walgreens or CVS. This is going to be the storefront of different gyms. So many gyms at the front entrance they sell different caffeine and protein beverages so people can purchase them when they're walking in or out. So we are going to try to rent storefront space in these places. And as you can see, we can project an exponential revenue growth over the first 3 years.
Thank you. We are now open for any lingering questions.
Thank you for your presentation, very interesting. I have a question about the price you show, the $4.99. That's the retail price. So do you calculate that with the costs that you have now? Do you think that this price may decrease in the future, or will it always be $4.99?
So many caffeine drinks alone are a little bit lower. They're about $2.39 to $2.50 per bottle. But some of the higher-end protein drinks, such as there's something called Fairlife that has 50 grams of protein per bottle, which is a lot. And those cost anywhere from $4.30 to $4.45. So our benchmark of $5 is going to be a starting price because obviously it's going to be difficult to integrate that goal of caffeine and protein in one bottle, but then we're going to try to lower it as the company moves on and grows.
Perfect.
Have you done any sampling, like some test mixes to see how this goes?
So one thing that I've always hated when drinking protein powder is it's very chunky and milky, and it's very thick, and it's not pleasant to drink. And there's this newer protein powder that has just come out earlier this year, and it's called Seek, and it's more of a juice. They market it as a watermelon juice that is like lemonade. And when seeing this, I realized that when we have this great taste that we can have for protein powder, we can also implement the caffeine into it. So we would be aiming for something that is almost in between a Bang energy drink and this protein drink called Seek. So it would try to be a thin and more juicy type of taste.
I have my protein shake right here. It's this morning, that's what I had for breakfast. A couple things. On your slide with the chart with your funding, I didn't see any costs about the manufacturing of this. So how do you plan to develop and make it and package it, and like what would it look like?
So we plan to be a garage startup, so we're not going to be renting out like a manufacturing facility because that would be definitely heavy in cost. So what we plan to do is we're going to start with the money from the prize. We're going to start experimenting with different caffeines, like Luke said, and hopefully start finding the right mix that'll maximize the flavor and the smooth texture of the drink. And with that, our manufacturing costs will not be very heavy since it is a garage startup.
Yes, and the packaging and the labeling and all of that is included in our inventory costs. This is just a very broad overview of the financials. Obviously, we could do a much deeper breakdown, but that would take a lot longer. So.
And how did you come up with the 200 milligrams caffeine and 25 grams of protein? That's sort of like your ideal. Have you talked to a nutritionist or trainers or anybody to sort of validate that that's a good mix?
Yes, I'm actually glad you asked because we actually received a letter from a fitness entrepreneur. She actually created her own acai brand, and she's very experienced within the energy drink department as well as acai bowls, which is very popular within fitness. And I sat down and had a meeting with her, and we discussed the optimization of the amount of caffeine as well as protein. And within almost every brand, which is like Bang and Celsius, they always have at least 200 milligrams of caffeine. And we found that to be the perfect amount while also experimenting with the maximized protein.
What makes your products, I mean, except for, you had mentioned something about the chalky paste or whatever, but what makes your product so different than what else is out there right now?
Well, like, there's never been a product established with caffeine as an energy drink with protein. There's only been protein coffees on the market. And it's astounding to us that there's never been a solution to this problem.
And if you would want to get your daily caffeine and protein goals in, you would need to consume both, which would lead to an increased price. So although maybe a protein drink may be $3 and something, and then maybe energy drink is $2 something, it would end up added up more to $5. So by consuming it only in one beverage, it makes everything easier.
I would also say that the energy boost you receive from a caffeinated drink mixed with the health benefits from a protein drink is really what makes ProCaf stand out.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, as a personal anecdote, I go to the gym every single morning before school. I love it. It's my favorite thing to do. And I'm always carrying around 2 separate components, and I'm always lugging them around, and I would just love a way to compartmentalize those, and ProCaf's perfect for that.
Can I please get a raise of hands for which of you thinks that you receive the right amount of fruits and vegetables on a daily basis? Well, according to the CDC, you're probably right. They think that around 9 in 10, or about 300 million Americans, do not receive the correct amount of daily recommended vegetables each day, that being roughly 3 whole cups. Davish and I ran a survey in our community of over 100 parents, students, and workers, and we found that over 58% of them strongly do not believe that they eat the right amount of fruits and vegetables to support a healthy diet and a healthy body. The University of Chicago states that people who do not eat the right amount of vegetables every day can show faster signs of brain deterioration through function. Additionally, according to a study carried out by Stanford University, they ascertained that around 60%, or nearly 9.5 million collegiates in America, do not receive the right amount of vegetables each day. This suggests that college students in America today are not receiving the right amount of vegetables and are thus not operating at their peak potential. On the other hand, in the workforce, the National Library of Medicine has contended that over 60% of employed Americans are overweight due to the lack of access to quick and easy, healthy, nutritious meals. So, this is all to say that nutrition in America currently is a big problem. From this problem, however, springs our opportunity. Davish and I researched various competitors, and we found that there are few to no health supplements in the health industry that accomplish this goal of providing the right amount of nutrients and macromolecules through fruits and vegetables. This is especially interesting given the fact that health supplements is a $164 billion industry annually. So the fact that there are currently no good alternatives out there that don't use any additives, don't have any harsh chemicals, or any filler preservatives is really interesting. Additionally, there are also few alternatives that have any substantial dietary fiber or protein content. So what do we have in store for you today? Schwink. Schwink is a soup-based powder that when mixed with water and heated in a microwave, forms a delicious broth. Schwink can be consumed as a snack, breakfast, dinner, or lunch item, and it brings consumers closer to that daily recommended goal of 3 cups of vegetables. As you can see here as well, Schwink uses just 9 whole natural ingredients compared to our competitor, in this case Bloom Nutritional Supplements, who utilize over 100. Some of Bloom's ingredients include filler chemicals and softeners called lipase. Lipase is a known carcinogen and causes nausea and vomiting in people. Additionally, as you can see here, Schwink also has a higher protein and dietary fiber content, which is very impressive given the fact that Schwink has such a low calorie count. Here is our ingredients list as well as our nutrition facts label. Please quickly look over it as Stephen and Griffin passed out some samples for you to try, as well as our packaging prototype. So, who are we planning to sell Schwink to? Our primary target market currently consists of college students who are around age 18, but extends up towards age 30. They will likely reside in the Northeast United States and be located in densely populated cities and urban areas. They will have a large willingness to try new things, low cooking knowledge, and low time to cook as well.
Our secondary market consists of Americans in the workforce aged 24 to 50, and they live in populated cities in colder climates. These people prioritize health convenience items, as well as they have busy schedules which do not allow them to cook full healthy meals on a daily basis.
So, what are we asking for? Today we're here seeking $10,000 as an investment in order for us to buy more ingredients, expedite our packaging and shipping process, as well as buy more packaging materials. Investors should expect a 3x return on their investment in the next fiscal year as Schwink situates itself in the retail scene, integrating ourselves into various health food stores such as Whole Foods.
Thank you all for listening, and thank you for your attention, and get your Schwink on.
First, that was great, thank you. What is the name Schwink and how did you come up with that?
So it's sort of a funny story. Our teacher, Mrs. Musto, uses Schwink as a filler word, and while we were searching for a name for our product, we just thought it fit the brand perfectly.
We also did some research on what's currently copyrighted, and Schwink was one of the few that we liked that didn't currently have a trademark.
Is this product intended to like replace a meal or just be an addition? And then where do you see like potential, like do you add to it? Do you make more? Like what, could you make other products?
Yeah, so to answer your first question, Schwink is a nutritional supplement. So it's not intended to replace all vegetables in one's diet. However, it is meant to push people closer towards the goal. So the idea is that with a normal diet, which for most, about 90% of Americans, does not meet the 3 cups of vegetables requirement, this will hopefully push them to that goal. And as for the second part, could you repeat that, by any chance?
How else could you use this product, and what do you envision making more products?
So it's sort of in a broth form, as you can see, which makes it really valuable because people can use it in Yetis, they can drink it on a ski trip, or they can put it in a bowl, add some vegetables, and it makes a soup. In the future, we plan on adding more types or flavors to it, such as a tomato soup version or a play on chicken noodle soup, something like that. But we're starting with this sort of hearty mixture.
Two quick questions. First of all, this looks very professional. I mean, have you already started to manufacture it? Also, how does this differ from the TV ads that you see with these fruits and vegetables capsules, I guess? I don't know what the name of it, I forget the name of it. But how does that differ from that particular product to what you're doing?
So to answer the first part of the question, we actually are able to manufacture this very cheaply. A standard food saver is able to compartmentalize various parts of plastic wrap, and in that we're able to put our soup-based powder and then seal it. As for the stickers with the front and the nutrition label, we were able to print stickers onto it and stick it on the back, trim the edges, and it gives it a very professional looking finish. As for what differentiates us from what's currently out there on the market with other food capsules, they generally either have harsh filler chemicals, which we are trying to avoid, or they don't have any kind of protein or fiber content. And so Schwink marries these two concepts and provides consumers with something that is basically the best of both worlds.
How many vegetable servings does it? How many vegetable servings or anything does it replace?
For one serving size, which is one of those packets, it's about half a cup of the vegetables. The daily recommended amount is 3 cups. So it sort of brings consumers closer to that goal of the 3 cups as providing half a cup of vegetables.
All right. And have you tried cooking rice in it? I'm just curious.
Not yet, but we're open to the idea.
I have a question in terms of price. Do you think that the price of this new product will be similar to other prices, or will it be higher, lower?
So in our survey that we ran in our community, we found that consumers were willing to pay from $1 to $3 for one individual packet. We most likely plan on selling it in a bundle form, so that would be from a range of maybe $12.99 to $24.99. But through our survey, we found that customers are willing to pay a decent amount for this product.
Yeah, to add to that, actually it was about 90% of the people in our survey were willing to pay that much. So this is extremely cheap to manufacture because we're able to just use baked vegetables in a powder form, like a seasoning, which is naturally shelf stable, as opposed to using preservatives to preserve the product, essentially. So not only is it cheap, but it also stays for a longer time than some of these other products that are currently out on the market.
We have a last question, like how will you manage the competition? If it's easy to make, it's easy also to replicate.
So we will just have to always be one step ahead of the competition. We're going to focus on testing and surveying people in our community, and we'll always just have to make new versions or new types of this product just to get the new product that the customers want in the market before our competition does that. Eventually down the road, once we receive more funding, we would like to work with a copyright organization and sort of sell our land in that area as well.
Additionally, we're at the moment focusing on more of a local approach to how we're going to sell this. So in the spring, our town actually has a farmer's market. And actually, in a couple days, we're having a bazaar at our school. So our intention is to sell first locally and garner interest, and then branch outward. So it'd be very difficult for the competition to pick up on us at such a small scale so far.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
My name is Nicholas Blossenold.
And I'm Ashley Henriquez, and today we're presenting the Green Box.
I'm going to pass around I'm going to give you guys a prototype just to check out as we speak. Just 3D printed version of the Green Box. One of the largest problems that we're seeing in the world today is the problem of land shortage. And as the infamous Mark Twain puts it, they just aren't making land anymore. But our problem relates to a broader problem, which is the loss of land. The shortage of land that we're seeing has led to supply chain issues and growing food insecurities all around the world. This is leading to the shortage of food insecurity running rampant across the globe.
The Green Box is giving the human race the opportunity to fix this issue of food shortages that we are seeing. Just in the US, we are seeing how frozen food has started to become the standard for public schools to serve, and how bare scraps of fruits and vegetables are making it onto our plate. Not only are children feeling this issue in school, but according to the USDA, 17.9% of children across the US are feeling little to no security about where their next meal is coming from. In here comes our solution, which is the Green Box. The Green Box is a large hydroponic garden that is using state-of-the-art technology and is built to be completely self-sufficient. The Green Box does not require any soil for the crops going inside and is completely fueled by light, water, and exterior nutrients. But this is not to say that the fruits and vegetables being grown from the Green Box are any less fresh and delicious. The Green Box is the perfect match for places where land is not being occupied due to detrimental climates or produce not being able to grow in the area.
As we give you the resources to start up the Green Box, our startup investment will be a full amount of $2.5 million. That model that we passed around is going to be around as big as this room. So this amount of money will allow the Green Box to thrive to ensure that the hydroponic system it utilizes is working efficiently. Our plan is to use unbearable lands in Qatar to set up the Green Box. In this budget, we'll send it to Qatar. The startup cost is all of our project needs, since it is able to make its own revenue through selling to individuals, supermarkets, and exterior organizations. Thank you, we appreciate your time. Any questions, we can take them.
Thank you. I have a question. How is this hydroponic system different from other hydroponic systems that already exist in the market?
So our hydroponic system is no different than any other hydroponic systems that exist across the market. The only difference is the sheer size of our hydroponic garden. As I said, the startup cost is $2.5 million. It's going to be be something around the size of the room that we're in currently. So the size of this hydroponic garden is huge. And so hydroponic gardens are usually small and they're locally based. Some companies use shipping containers for hydroponic gardens, and that's the largest I've seen. But the idea is that this hydroponic garden, because of its size, will be able to produce tons and tons of produce.
Why Qatar?
Qatar, because of the fact that the land is just there. I mean, you look at other places, right? Like we're in Massachusetts right now. We're looking at a lot of rural areas where you can start farming. I mean, all of this land is arable. The land in Qatar is all flat, arid, and you can't grow anything there. So we figure, why not make a good situation out of a bad situation?
Why go so big and make this sort of huge product versus maybe something that could be an individual use in their own yard or something? Why go with the big?
So the idea with the size is that we'd be basically selling to grocery stores in Qatar wholesale, and eventually, given the scale of it, we might expand past Qatar, but just for today's purposes, supermarkets in Qatar would be receiving the fruits and vegetables that we produce. As Ashley said, frozen fruits and vegetables are the standard for lots of Americans today and lots of people around the world. So the idea is, if we manufacture it to supermarkets, schools, and exterior organizations, we should be able to get large amounts of produce out, healthy, good for you, and delicious.
Qatar is also the 4th wealthiest nation in the world, so selling to their markets there, it will highly benefit the Green Box in our revenue, and with our revenue, we will invest it back into the Green Box to not worry about selling to exterior markets also.
Who came up with the idea and why?
It was a combination. Both of us came up with the idea. A few years ago in our school, we were looking to start up a garden, and I've always been driven to, garden. I mean, my grandparents, I'm living with them now, and they have an incredible garden in their backyard. I eat fresh produce during the summer. It's really underrated commodity, It's there's nothing like fresh produce. And so we tried to start up the garden in our school and found out how difficult it was, and we said, man, if only there was some way to get fresh produce to individuals easier and quicker.
One other question. I only know this because I took a tour one time, but does Fenway Park use something like this with their rooftop garden?
I'm not completely sure. I believe it if they did. Hydroponic gardening is a rising trend within the gardening community, and with all of the emerging technology that exists, I'm sure they do take advantage of something like that. Thank you, guys.
Hello everyone, I'm Hunsey. I'm Caleb. And I'm Jenny. And together we came up with the app Explore Express. So we wanted to tell you a little bit about ourselves. So when we were little, we were so excited to go on vacation with our family every year. But as we got older and got to the age where we could actually help our parents book flights or look for best hotel deals, we found that it's not as pretty as we once thought. And our reaction to this price is quite literally what you see up there. So the problem that we're facing is finding affordable flights, hotels, and attractions, as well as putting all of this into really good agendas that's time efficient. I know that when we go traveling as a family that we spend so much time finding where to go next, it loses time in our day. So post-COVID, domestic flight fare has been up 21%, with international up 6%. And round trips have increased 32% in Europe, being $1,000 on an average, and in Asia being $1,600, which is up 60% before COVID. And this simple chart right here shows you the most expensive days of the week to buy plane tickets, with Sunday being the most expensive. And then we move on to affordable hotels. So this year, 2023, we're seeing a 63.1% increase of hotel bookings with same-day check-in. Now this leads to much more expensive hotels. And the similar pattern follows with booking your affordable attractions. 9 out of 10 people are using travel apps to find their attractions, and they're searching for things to do today or tonight. And this way of searching has increased by 519% in the past 5 years. This leads to stuff being more expensive overall as well, since it is so last minute. So our solution is to create an app that gets you the cheapest deals and puts together the best itinerary. So who's ready to explore like never before with Explore Express?
So we think this app has great opportunity and a chance to thrive because of the increasing advances in technology, and phone usage is being used a lot more, especially with older generations like my mom. She's always on the computer searching up trips and stuff. And 80% of people actually use their phones to search up trips. And like Hansi was saying, after COVID, the need to get out of the house and go on a trip has really risen, so it would be a great opportunity for our app to start up now.
And then you may be asking, how is this different than any other app like Trivago, Booking.com, things like that? With our app, everything's all in one place. There's no need to go to multiple different websites to view different bookings, different times. Everything's just in one place. So we created a list of kind of what our app will do and how it's all easy to use.
So we have an app demonstration. It's not working out there, but we have it on here. So here is our home page, basically, and then you just tap. And so basically, it would just bring you to the home page of where you want to go. So you just search in where you want to go. We chose Paris. And then it would give you the amount of days. And up here, it's a bar of days, airlines, hotels, attractions, food. And you can start with whichever one you want, but it's easier to start with the days because then even for making reservations, it will show you what's available for those specific days. So then for airlines, everything filters through its prices, so you can put in the price range that you want, and it will show up with the best prices and best ratings for that. And it's pretty much the same exact thing for hotels in the area. And then also for attractions, based on where your hotel is, it will find ones that are close to you, but also ones that are maybe a little further away that are rated better, just based on what you want. And then for food, there's a lot of flexibility. You can just skip this step because a lot of people like to just walk around and find food, so there's no pressure to do anything there, but we chose to do breakfast. So basically, we'll just give you a list of restaurants again that are located near your hotel and that are best rated, but also give you options that are different. The special thing about our app is you can put in any dietary restrictions that you want to have while you're on your trip. And then when you choose a restaurant, it will show you the menu and the prices for that restaurant. Next, we have transportation. So a lot of people like to either go out, take trains, buses, taxis, whatever it is. You can choose what you want to do for that day. And it will give you we chose trains, so it gave us the train schedule, prices, and all of that. And then once you're done with putting in all that information, it will make a full itinerary for each day for you to have while you're on the trip. And then a special thing that we added to this app was Explore X Plus, which is a subscription plan for $9.99 for 6 months. And it has extra features such as the directions of not only how to get to places, but for your itinerary for that day, the places that you're going to that specific day will show up on the map and show you where you are in comparison to those places. Another thing is we want to eventually pair with Uber Eats and Grubhub. So if you don't want to leave your hotel, you can click on that and it will bring you to your Uber Eats account and it will bring the food to you from there. Another thing with this subscription is if you want to stay in a house, it will give you the option to stay in Airbnbs.
Okay, and then lastly, looking at our resources. So we expect income from both our Explore X Plus customers and featured companies on the app. And then our funding. We want to use the money for marketing and partnerships with other companies through advertising in our app, and also to pay a secure service fee, which will help provide protection for both our app and the users on it. And then we've created a projected budget for the next year, with our total revenue being $55,000. And after setting aside a secure service fee, we'll use the remaining money and roughly equally in installments for the next 9 months for our advertising. And then the sustainability of our app. Traveling is something that will never really go out of date, and with mobile device use on the rise, this is something that's easily accessible to everyone. And then it'll also just reduce the stress of traveling, and it's targeting many groups of people, so there's not one certain group we're looking at.
We thank you all for your time, and we welcome your questions.
Thank you. Great job. A couple questions. How are you getting all of that travel data onto your site? Is there technology that automates all that, or do you need staff to sort of pull that information?
Yeah, so it would be nice to have staff that keeps all this information up to date so people have the latest trends and the latest data. That will definitely help people, but for people to actually book their flights and everything, it's just whatever the cheapest deals are for the budget that they're looking for, they can input into the app and it'll filter out options for them.
And how are you getting all of that into your app?
So what we kind of thought about was the idea of letting people leave reviews and recommendations for others, so you can see, oh, somebody went on a similar trip to me, this is what they did, and they can rate how their experience was.
And my last question, who do you plan to target first as your ideal customer, and how do you plan to market this? Because as you said, there's so many other sites that people can find when they want to, book a trip.
Yeah, so I think the biggest target market for us would be people that travel frequently, whether that be families or younger couples or even business people that travel abroad. I think the best way to figure out which marketing tactic works for us is to kind of test the waters a bit the first 3 months to find what really works for us, but then we can compare the ratio. We had it on one of our slides. It's called the LTV to CAC ratio, which is basically your lifetime value to customer acquisition cost. And comparing this will tell us which format of advertising is the most cost efficient while attracting the most potential customers.
Also, I think a big target market just in general is people who don't have a lot of time to sit down and plan a trip. Like I know my family, my sister and my mom will sit at the kitchen table for hours trying to figure everything out and make sure everyone's gonna like everything. And there's just a lot of aspects that go into it. And she has like a million tabs pulled up on her computer. And so this app is really useful to pull all those components into one.
I think I saw it was $99, is that correct? Correct. I don't know. I have trouble turning my phone on and off, so I don't know. I don't know if that's a good price or not. I mean, that seems kind of high for an app or something that already exists. Not being negative, but.
Yeah, so the $99.99 is for 6 months at a time. And it's not a mandatory price. It's just whoever wants to subscribe to our premium subscription, which is the Explorers Plus that we mentioned. And the people that we kind of think that would be subscribing to that is the people that are traveling on a regular basis who would need this travel itinerary very frequently. So if they're willing to pay this price, it'll give them a lot more features of our app, and it's definitely something that will help them in the future with planning all their trips.
Do you see it also, besides making it easier, is there cost savings here to the consumer for booking some of this stuff?
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some savings. The whole purpose of combining flights, hotels, and everything is to find prices that fit your budget. So if you put in your price range, you'll find the most affordable deals for you, and that is what our app will present to you. It's not going to present everything that's out there on the market for flights or hotels. It'll filter to your specific preferences for prices.
And then with that, we're also hoping to use some of the money we're making with the app to give people deals at special times of the year. And with that, as we grow our app, we can think about bringing down the Explorers Plus price.
Your other apps have the itinerary building, like the daily itinerary that you show.
We have not found apps or websites that combine everything as this does. There's obviously our competitors like Expedia or hotels.com, but those just give you the one component that you need to book your flight or your hotel. There's nothing that really pulls everything together and gives you the best deals, while also creating a personalized itinerary hour by hour of where you have to go, what you're going to do next.
Hello, I have a question related to the fees you have. So for the Explore X Plus, it's $99 for 6 months. And if I'm not a premium subscriber, I will use it for free?
Correct.
There are no fees added to the...
There are no fees.
Okay, and so you only make money out of the Explore X Plus and your associations with the partnerships with other stores?
That's correct. All the other companies, like different airlines, will be paying us to be featured on the app to be the #1 spot, so that they get more business from our app as well. So it's kind of a win-win situation.
Perfect. Thank you.
Freshman at CHS, and I will be presenting to you guys Y2Y, or Yard to Young. Sorry, Yard to Young. Did you know that 119 billion pounds of food is wasted yearly in the United States? And 6 to 10% of the food that restaurants buy is just thrown away during prep just to make food look presentable. $162 billion is how much a restaurant wastes yearly, or how much the restaurant industry wastes yearly. And that is a big problem. Now, we can fix this problem. Over 18,000 restaurants in the Mass area and over 7,000 farms in the Mass area. The opportunity. 600 pounds of food is wasted monthly at one restaurant and disposed of $300 to $700 monthly. The majority of restaurants, after surveying them in the Boston area, said they are interested in maximizing food waste and building a farm-to-table relationship. Our service will allow restaurants to make the best out of their food waste. This is the graph showing how much care about the good handling of food waste and how much care about spending more for better handling. Now, we have 4 competitors that are trying to solve the same problem that we are focusing on. Full Harvest is a marketplace that allows farms to partner up with other companies to sell their imperfect produce. Anaerobic digestion uses bacteria to break down biodegradable matter. And Toastale uses surplus bread in bakeries to replace barley in its beer. And Rubies in the Rubble uses discarded food to make condiments. Now, what sets us apart is that no other company does exactly what we plan to do. Although these companies use food waste and turn it into something else, we are planning to put food back into the food cycle, which gives us a huge window of opportunity. Now, our solution is to take food waste from restaurants and bring it to farms after composting them in our facilities. Now, in return, farms will give a % of their produce back to restaurants, which is a win-win situation for both parties. Now, our solution allows food waste to be kept out of landfills and reduces methane production, which is a big environmental strain. Now, money related to food waste is solved, and this benefits both parties. We have 3 main areas where we want to turn our resources to: office space and admin expenses, transportation, and the rest is left for miscellaneous. Now, for 40% is for office space and admin expenses. 50% is for transportation, which is employee salaries, such as the drivers that bring compost and produce to restaurants and farms, and marketing fees. And marketing and fees goes into the 40%. We need your funding, and we can expand our business. So right now, we are planning to expand more to southern states since they have more farms and more restaurants. Now, judges, let's work together. Let's help farms and restaurants along the way, and let's go green. Do you guys have any questions?
Yes. Who pays for this?
So we actually have government grants, and I have them right here, because we're going to do a nonprofit. And there's a lot of government grants related to like companies that focus on recycling, and a lot are based on like food waste as well. So this is where most of our money is going to come from.
Have you looked into what some restaurants are currently doing? Is some are doing something very similar?
Yeah, they are doing something very similar. They do compost their food, but they don't actually get a return for that.
When you say return, are you going to pay them for their food waste?
No. We're going to take their food waste, we're going to compost it, bring it to farms. Farms will gain the compost, and they can also use it as animal feed. And they are going to send a percent of their produce back to the restaurants. And we're going to do that by a credit system, right here.
Okay. That's sort of something that sets you apart from what others.
Yeah, because like although like other companies maybe benefit one party, we have like a two-way where it benefits both.
And how will you, so you're going to need to sign on both restaurants and farms and get them to sort of sign on to you and create this partnership? And how do you plan to do that?
So we're planning to create a website that will allow restaurants to go on there, put how much they need for produce, to put how much waste they think they'll waste every month. And then farms will also put in how much compost they need and how much produce they plan to produce each month. And by doing that, we can match them up.
How did you determine there was this issue? How did you get the numbers? And honestly, I was a little surprised at the amount of waste. So how did you come up with all those numbers?
Yeah, so aside from research, we actually got a lot of primary research from restaurants in Boston. So my dad is actually a restaurant owner, and he told me that like a lot of, like in his experience, like he's owned like 3 to 4 restaurants, and there's so much food waste happening in the industry, and that no one really cares about. And it's also like extremely expensive for like disposal costs. So he thought that it would be good if like they get a return for like how much they spend on like, instead of disposing it, they could compost it instead. And also, farms will really see a benefit to this, as like compost is expensive. It takes up at least half of their income. So like this will help both parties.
And you'll be doing the composting. You'll create the space to house and compost and then ship it back out.
Yeah, so we have facilities for that. And what we plan to do is we're going to use an aerated static pile, which where waste is mixed in a large pile loosely layered with bulking agents to allow air to filter through the pile, which speeds up the natural process of composting. So that's really helpful for us. And the other two are just other options, but this is the best one.
One more quick question. When you say food waste, are you talking about the food left on plates that people didn't eat, or excess food that's cooked at the kitchen overnight?
So it can actually be both. Like when prepping, you do waste a lot of food to make it look presentable. So we're going to take that, and the food that people waste, we'll also take that. And we're going to, like, in our facilities, we'll have them go through piles, like our employees, or like through machinery, to find out like which foods can be used for compost.
All right, that was amazing. You all did such a great job. Awesome ideas, really making a difference. Great presentations. So congratulations to all the students. Please, everyone, let's give a big round of applause. So next, the judges are going to follow me upstairs. We're going to do about a 30-minute intermission or so while the judges decide who wins the first, second, and third places. We'll come back down, we'll announce those prizes, and then we're going to have lunch and some networking with some mentors who will walk around to all the different student groups and talk to you about your ideas and give you some feedback. During that time, we're also going to have a UMass Lowell admissions table set up, so if any of you are interested in learning more about UMass Lowell, you can talk to the representative at that table. So for now, run to the bathroom, grab a drink, and we'll be back in about 30 minutes.
I'm Donna McFadden. I'm with Massachusetts DECA, and really excited to be here for the 5th Difference Maker event that we've been sponsoring, I think, for the past 3 or 4 years now. And we're really happy to be sponsoring this and seeing all of our DECA chapters coming here on this bright, sunny, yet chilly day here at UMass Lowell. So I'll just give you a quick little DECA pitch. We do have 120 high schools that are currently participating in DECA in Massachusetts right now. We are at an all-time high. I just checked our numbers yesterday, and we do have 9,600 members of Massachusetts DECA, and that makes us the 8th largest association in the world as far as DECA goes. So we're really excited about that, and we're really grateful and thankful for colleges and universities like UMass Lowell that provides opportunities like this Difference Maker program for our DECA members to participate in. For those of you that are participating in the state Shoot for the Stars campaign, this does count as a non-competitive event for you, so you can use that in your challenge as you're trying to gain leadership spots for the International Career Development Conference. So definitely keep that in mind. I do want to do 2 shout outs to 2 of our brand new schools that are here today, Quincy High School and Millis High School. If you can just stand up for our brand new high schools that knew nothing about DECA before are actually here participating today. So really proud of you guys for making it here and jumping right into DECA and preparing yourself for your district competition, because that's what these things do. These competitions, these, like, I call them like little mini Shark Tanks, things like Difference Maker help prepare you for your DECA year ahead and take those skills that you're learning in the classroom, applying it here in this atmosphere, and you're getting more prepared for your district conference, which I understand is happening next week. We have our first district conference happening next week. So super exciting. So again, one thing that I love about the Difference Maker competition is how it combines things like engineering skills and entrepreneurial skills with the marketing skills that you're learning in the classroom. And as Sarah mentioned earlier, Sarah actually participated in the Difference Maker competition last year with Blackstone Valley Tech. And Sarah does not take business classes at her school. She's an engineering student. So participating in the Difference Maker competition last year is what sparked her interest in DECA, and it's what got her really excited about the idea of combining entrepreneurship and marketing with the engineering skills that she's learning at school. So anyway, I think it's a really cool combination that you can apply here at this particular competition. So, who's ready for some results? Okay, so we do sponsor, DECA does sponsor prizes for the top 3 teams, but we do have an honorable mention that I am going to mention, and the honorable mention is going to get a swag bag for the team, and the honorable mention is our brand new school, Millis High School, with CNC machining. If you want to come on up here so we can take a photo with your advisor. Yep, we're going to just have you take a photo right here in front of the screen.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You can stand right here, yeah.
In 3rd place, receiving $200, is the Pro CAF team from King Philip Regional High School. If you can also come on up, we'll take a photo of you here. Mr. Down, would you like to be in the picture?
One more.
Awesome job.
Congratulations. Nice job. Nice job.
Okay, one second. Let me make sure I'm in the right spot here. This is number 2 right here.
Correct.
Okay. In second place, receiving a check for $300 from Woburn High School Inclusive Eats. Come on up for a photo op. Yep. Ms. Keenan, would you like to join them?
Congratulations, guys. Fantastic. Congratulations.
All right, and drum roll, first place from Westford Academy, the Schwink team. Come on up for a photo.
Sorry to keep on the joke.
And all of the DECA checks will be mailed out when our treasurer comes back from vacation on December 12th. And let's get Miss Musto in that photo too. Hi, Gina.
Should I go in the middle or? Do you have the swimming feature on that? Thank you. Hey!